Hello everyone, I am back once again, and as you can see, I'm actually going to be showcasing another Wi-Fi match for Pokemon after a long time of not doing so. However, as you can see as well, the game is going to be for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, obviously. It's not going to be Scarlet and Violet, because you know me, I'm not really crazy about those games. I still think those games are crap, by the way, so don't want to deal with that whatsoever. And unfortunately for me, as of April, the Nintendo 3DS online servers have been discontinued, so Pokemon Wi-Fi matches in Generation 6 or 7 are no longer an option for me. So I just have to deal with Generation 8 or 10 if I actually, if the games are actually good, Like, they might still have the 20-minute timer annoyingly enough, but if the games are like at least interesting and doesn't have shitty performances, then maybe I'll actually be getting it or something. But for right now, I'm not really too crazy about it. So yeah, I'm just sticking to what I prefer in my, in my own little nostalgic mind, and that is sticking with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, even to this day. But anyways, so the opponent that I have for this match, obviously, it's going to be, well, it's not obvious, but it's a brand new opponent. So yeah, it's going to be Markolinho, that's the opponent's name. And I got this match from a different server, one that's dedicated to having matches in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, since, Scarlet and Violet is currently the wave. And I believe this is an OU match, just based on the teams that we have right now, which are pretty, pretty overpowered. Anyways, so my opponent is going to lead off with the Rotom Heat, hilariously enough, because I'm going to lead off with a Rotom Wash. And if you've seen one of my previous Wi-Fi matches, you'll know that I actually have once led with a Rotom Heat and my opponent actually led with a Rotom Wash. So I find it hilarious that this is now being done vice versa. Anyways, so here I'm going to go for the, I believe the Hydro Pump, just because I was kind of hoping he'd try to risk the Speed Tie and go for Volt Switch, but he actually does not end up doing that. He actually makes the wise play and actually goes for something that resists Hydro Pump, in this case Tangrowth. So here, I was thinking of switching out. However, unfortunately, the Tangrowth, while it does have a lot of weaknesses, also does have option coverage. So he could predict my Heatran to come out and go for Earthquake, or he can predict my Clefable to come in and go for Sludge Bomb. So I was just thinking, okay, those switching out right here is kind of predictable, given that Rotom can't really do anything. So I figured, okay, maybe I'll try to go for the Will-O-Wisp and see if he's actually gonna predict me to want to stay in. Or is he just gonna make the safe play and go for Giga Drain, because that's also a possibility. I do risk it for the biscuit nonetheless, so I do go for the Will-O-Wisp, I do land it, and thankfully my opponent does not switch out, which is really good for me. I do get the burn on this thing, although there was no signs of this thing ever going for, or having leftovers is what I wanted to say. Also, as you saw, he did go for Earthquake, so he was probably trying to predict my Heatran to come out. Thankfully I didn't budge right there, because if I did, then that would have been pretty bad for me. However, I already did what I needed to do with this Rotom, and now I'm going to actually go for the Volt Switch. I do reveal in the process that he does have a Citrus Berry here, which is good to know because, usually these things are leftovers, and leftovers is pretty annoying. Rocky Helmet is not a thing here because apparently Rocky Helmet is not an item in this game for some reason. But yeah, so here I have to look at my team once again to see what I want to send in against the Tangrowth, and I was debating between Heatran this time because, I figured he already tried predicting me, so maybe now he will not expect me to send in Heatran. But I didn't want to take that risk, so I just went into Clefable, I believe. What this Clefable can do is go for Ice Beam on this thing to just cripple this thing as much as possible. And this guy is going to go for Knockoff, which is unfortunate for me because I was kind of expecting more of the Giga Drain, or even Leech Seed, honestly. But Knockoff I was kind of hoping he wouldn't have, but he did have it, so my Clefable now loses leftovers, which is pretty unfortunate. So here, I'm going to go for the Moonblast because I was thinking he does have the Rotom Heat, and, he probably does resist it. So, sure, it resists Moonblast as well. So I figured, okay, it may resist, but it's Stab on Clefable, and there is a chance that I can lower the special attack for this thing. So if I switch out again, if he tries to go for Overheat, it won't do as much damage. And as you can see, thankfully for me, I actually do get the Spatak drop, which means that if I switch out, anything that comes in will not take too much damage. However, here, I actually wanted to see what moves he had, because this thing could have Will-O-Wisp itself, or even Thunder Wave, or even Toxic. So I was just like, okay, maybe, just maybe, I should try to Moonlight here, just to see what he does. Because if I switch out into something and I get status, if it's on the wrong mon, it could be pretty bad for me. He just goes for the Discharge, which can be annoying too, honestly, because I think Discharge has a higher % chance to paralyze than other moves like Thunderbolt or I think Thunder. Actually, Thunder and Discharge have the same amount of probabilities of paralyzing, but I don't know. Either way, I went for the Moonlight, and you know, Discharge is a move, but I was thinking, okay, if he went for Discharge, I was thinking maybe he doesn't have Overheat, and even if it did, it's a -1. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to go into Nidoking here. I was primarily expecting another Discharge here though, so that's kind of why I went into Nidoking. Because if I take the Discharge, I will take no damage, and then I will just simply fire away, and then take a hit. What he does instead though is actually go for the Will-O-Wisp himself, and does land it. So my Nidoking is burned, unfortunately. But thankfully this Rotom is a Leftovers variant, not a Scarf variant, so even if it was Scarf, I mean, he'd be locked in the Will-O-Wisp, he'd be forced to switch out, which could have been good for me too, honestly. But it's not faster than my Nidoking, that's for certain. So I'm gonna be able to get the Sludge Wave off first. However, unfortunately, this Rotom is bulky and can take it, so he is gonna land the Overheat before anything else happens. He is a -3 now, but I do believe he's gonna try to switch out here. Either that or try to go for more Overheats, which I believe I will be able to take. And I feel like because of this, I actually wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to actually set up Stealth Rocks now. I know he has a Crobat which could have Defog, but I was just thinking he would be forced to use up a turn to actually get rid of the rocks, and then I can get a switch advantage that way. Maybe send in Rotom and go for Volt Switch, and you know, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I do get the rocks up here. He does end up hard switching into Crobat, interestingly enough. Maybe he was expecting me to go for maybe another Sludge Wave, or maybe even Earth Power too, because this thing actually does resist both of those things. It's immune to Earth Power too. So because of that, I was actually forced to switch out. I go into Rotom because I was anticipating a Brave Bird. He does end up going for it. And I think here I try to go for something. I don't remember what it was. It might have been a Hydro Pump or something. I don't think it was Volt Switch yet though. I'll have to see because I actually don't remember. It's because it's been a while since I actually had this match too, honestly. So I kind of don't remember a lot of this match still. But here I'm looking at my moves, it seems. I might actually go for the Hydro Pump just because, again, you know, there's a possibility he'll switch into something that might resist it or something. Oh yeah, I think I was fearing the Garchomp because he does have the Garchomp, and going for Thunderbolt or Volt Switch could be scary. It'll give my opponent the upper hand, and you know, I didn't want that, obviously. So yeah. Here he ends up just staying in and going for Toxic, which is, yeah, it's kind of annoying because that's going to put my Rotom on a timer. And here I have to now decide what I want to do. I wanted to go for Volt Switch, but I actually end up going for the Will-O-Wisp first because I wanted to see if now he'll go into the Garchomp. He does switch out. Unfortunately for me though, he doesn't end up switching into the Garchomp. He goes into the Tangrowth, so I was just like, damn it. He got me right there. He certainly did, because I think even he knew that I was trying to go for the Will-O-Wisp here. Or that I might want to go for the Will-O-Wisp. And he made the right call right here. So, like, goddamn. He certainly got me there. So, here, obviously this is another conundrum for me. Because now I have to think, what do I want to do? I think here, because now, like, I just can't stay in. Because I already Volt Switch. I already Will-O-Wisp this Tangrowth. I have to Volt Switch because there's nothing more I can do. And I don't want to take a Giga Drain from this thing. So, yeah. I do get a crit on this Volt Switch for whatever it's worth, but you know, I have to now think on what I want to send in because, again, Rotom can't do anything. I can't send in Heatran either because, again, the Earthquake can come in and then it'll do a lot of damage, if not take out my Heatran entirely. So I just go into Clefable just to play it safe, even if it goes for Sludge Wave. He ends up going for the Earthquake yet again, so he is yet again trying to predict my Heatran to come in, so that is scary. My opponent is actually, like, he's playing me like a fiddle almost, so it's kind of insane. So here, I have to once again think on what I want to do, because I know I have Ice Beam with this Clefable, but he also knows that I have Ice Beam on this Clefable. So, or even, actually, I don't think he knows that I have Ice Beam yet. Or I don't think he knows that I have Ice Beam yet. So, I think he might think I have Flamethrower. Because, yeah, again, so the bottom line is that he might be predicting one of those two moves, Ice Beam or Flamethrower. So I was thinking, let's switch into Heatran now to see what he wants to do. He does anticipate one of those two moves once again, so he switches out because of it and goes into Crobat now. And because of that, obviously, I went into Heatran because I was thinking he might actually, like if he stayed in, he might have actually tried going for something that was an Earthquake, but he just ended up switching into Crobat, obviously. So yeah, that wasn't like too bad for me. Here I'm going to go for the Magma Storm, and he is going to switch out because even he knows that he can't do anything to Heatran. And he's going to go into Rotom Heat. I'm guessing as Death Fodder because, yeah, this thing takes Rocks damage, and then it's just going to go down to whatever move I go with on this Heatran. I go for the Magma Storm. Thankfully I land it. I'm actually glad I landed it. Get a useless crit. Because if I missed this move, there's a chance that he could have gone for the Discharge and try to get a Paralysis on my Heatran, and that would have been pretty annoying to say the least. So yeah, thankfully I just took out the Heatran, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. However, now he's going to send in the Starmie, and the Starmie is actually, yeah, this thing is scary. Because this thing, if it's an offensive variant, it could hit a lot of my team pretty hard. It takes out my Nidoking. It can do a lot of damage on Clefable if it's like a Specs variant with Hydro Pump. In fact, Hydro Pump can do a huge number on my team, actually. And can probably even take out Heatran entirely. And Heatran can't even do anything to Starmie, because, well, it could Earth Power, but it wouldn't be enough to 2-hit KO Starmie, I feel. It all depends on the set that it has, honestly. Weavile could take it out, but it has to come in safely, so obviously that's not an option on a hard switch in here. In fact, I was already considering sacking Nidoking at this point, but I wasn't really sure, honestly. I felt like he could still put in work, maybe. I think here I ultimately end up sending in the Rotom. Yeah, the Rotom, just because, again, it does resist the whatever water type move. It may not appreciate the Psychic, but if it ends up going for Psychic, it is what it is. He thankfully does end up going for the Surf, so that's actually good for me. I was also fearing Scald. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to hard switch in Weavile either, was because I could take a Surf and then go for an attack, but if it's Scald that he goes for, yeah, I do run the risk of getting burned, and then Weavile will not be able to do anything. That would be bad for me. So yeah, here so I'm gonna, I think I try to go for the Volt Switch, just because I feel like if I stay in right here at this point, he could try to go for Psychic, and if I go for Hydro Pump or something like that, he will be able to take out my Rotom because he'll resist Hydro Pump. So here I actually tried to, you know, take another risk and go for Volt Switch this time. And now, unfortunately, he does make the right play and actually go into Garchomp. So now I can't do anything. However, here, once again, I was thinking, okay, he might actually take me out right here. So I figured, let's just go for the Will-O-Wisp if he takes me out with Outrage. But if he has Dragon Claw, there is a chance he could switch out. But I was kind of hoping he'd have the Outrage, really. Because that way, if he locks himself into Outrage, I can switch in Clefable and then just go for the Moonblast that way. However, this guy is pretty savvy though, so maybe he kind of also knew that going for any Dragon move really is just going to be suboptimal at this point. So he does actually make the wise play here, and I think even I was also not expecting this actually. He actually does end up going to the Tangrowth, and yeah, obviously I can't do anything to the Tangrowth because that's already burned, obviously. Rotom already did its job with this Tangrowth, and that is to burn it because it can't really do anything else. It can't do anything with Thunderbolt, it can't do anything with Hydro Pump. The only thing it can do is get away from this thing by going for Volt Switch and dishing out at least a tiny bit of damage. It's my way of switching out without like this thing going unscathed. In other words, just giving it damage before I switch out and all that good stuff. So yeah. However, he is going to switch out and he is going to go back into the Garchomp, so he is kind of schmixing me here right now, which is a little annoying, I'll admit. So here once again, I think here once again I try to just go for the Will-O-Wisp once again. He might actually try to schmix me again, I think, but I'm not sure. I think, no, actually no, because the Toxic Poison, of course, that racks up, and, you know, like now I'm more likely to die here, obviously, because I'm at red now, so I'm gonna basically go down to whatever move he wants to go for, unless he wants to schmix me more with the Tangrowth, which would have been pretty annoying, honestly, because, again, I'm just expecting to Will-O-Wisp something at this point. He is going to go for the Dragon Claw, so yeah, unfortunately no Outrage, because Outrage could have been much better for me. But he did, if this is a choice set, he is locked into a Dragon move, and I actually wanted to find out if it was choice, so because of that I actually went into Clefable, just to see if it was choice. If he switches out, he's choice, and if he doesn't switch out and goes for like Poison Jab or something, then he would be at least not choice. But I think I'd be able to take hits from this thing a lot better if this thing was choice, Bandit for instance, you know. But here my opponent is actually thinking, and I went for the Ice Beam just because I wanted to see, like, you know, if the Crobat could come out. It does come out. In fact, I think I never revealed this Ice Beam to this thing, to this, you know, to my opponent, I meant to say. That's because I was referring to Crobat for some reason. Well, Crobat is not my opponent. It's Markolingo. But yeah, so here I revealed to him the Ice Beam, I believe, and yeah, and he tries to stay in and go for Toxic, I guess hoping that my Clefable would be unaware, which I believe it's not. Like, this one's actually a Magikarp one still. I do have one that's unaware, but it's not this one. So I just go for another Ice Beam and just take out this Crobat. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about Crobat defogging, because I actually never knew if this thing could defog or not. It probably didn't have it, because if he did, then he probably would have tried going for it at some point, and he just never did. Even at this point, after getting Ice Beamed, he probably would have gone for it right there as a last-ditch effort, you know. But he didn't go for that. So now he's going to go into the Frost Slash right here, and again, here I'm just thinking, what should I do, honestly? Because battling in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl right now, given the 20-minute timer, is a little bit delicate just because, you know, I have to kind of make my moves fast, and I also... But if I make the wrong call, it could cost me. I could get steamrolled backwards, reverse steamrolled, and that wouldn't be good for me. So what I do here instead, obviously, is just sack Nidoking. Given what's left of his team, I think the only thing I need to do is send in Weavile safely and just start attacking a lot of what's left on his team. And nothing appreciates Weavile right now. So I have the full liberty of going into Weavile here. I do believe here I try to go for the Throat Chop though, because this Frostlass is here, and it does have Psychic, but these things can have Will-O-Wisp too, and I don't want to mess around with that. I don't want my Weavile to get burned, especially because this guy still has the Tangrowth, which, speaking of which, he is going to send it in right here, because he does actually anticipate me going for a Dark-type move, which I don't think Knockoff is a move in this game, by the way. But I do go for the Throat Chop here, so yeah, it does do a fair amount, and because this thing is burned and doesn't have leftovers, I actually just go for the Icicle Crush here. I was afraid that this move could miss, actually, because it has missed before, so, but I had to go for it, because, you know, that was the only move that could possibly take this thing out. I couldn't go for Ice Shard. Right there, he'd be able to continuously switch around and then get all of its HP back, and then it would be a lot difficult to take out. Although I did still have the Heatran in the back. But there was another problem, obviously, and that would be the Garchomp that comes right here. I did take out the Tangrowth, thankfully. So that's one wall out of the way. But this thing, it did take rocks. It did have prior damage as well. However, my only concern with this Garchomp right now, at least at the time, because now I know, obviously, but at the time, I was actually a lot worried that the Ice Shard, even with Expert Build, would not be able to take out Garchomp, just given how bulky Garchomp is. Ice Punch would take it out no matter what. I think even if it had a Yachi Berry, but it was Ice Shard. And while it is X4 weak to it, and Weavile is powerful, and it is Stab, I just had my doubts. I just thought maybe it would live it. So I was a little scared, so I was just looking at what options I had on the off chance that did happen. I was even thinking I should probably switch out here just to be safe and whatnot. But thankfully that wasn't necessary. I actually tried risking it for the Biscuit here, just to see if I should, like, you know, if I could take it out. And if not, it'll be weakened enough to the point where it actually goes down to rocks, should he switch it out, because I think I still have my Clefable too. So yeah. Here he's going to go into Starmie, and Starmie obviously is going to take rocks damage, and I do outspeed it with Weavile since it revealed to be a Life Orbs variant and not a Scarf variant, so I can just go for the Throat Chop on that and take that out. And I think it's here where I realize, you know what, I think I got this match in the bag, obviously. Like, I do win this match. But yeah, so let it be known that this is not the first match that I had with Markolingo. There was actually one that I had with him prior to this one. The reason why I'm not showcasing the first match, even though it actually did have a brand new team that I made, is because it actually went to time, unfortunately. And because of, you know, Scarlet and Violet is a wave right now. Like, that's the game everybody cares about right now. Because of that, I actually want to showcase only matches that actually finish in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, instead of matches that go to time, honestly. I used to do that, like, only for the draft league matches. Like I used to showcase matches for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl if they were in the draft format, but since we're no longer doing draft leagues, I kind of want all these matches to actually not go to time. That's why I try to tell my opponents sometimes that if we're gonna have a match, we need to actually play in a way that accommodates the 20-minute timer. Sometimes regardless of whether we lose or not. Like I know we all try to play to win here, but we have to also accommodate the timer if I want to actually have these matches finish. It is annoying though, but it just is what it is, because honestly, like the 20-minute timer just doesn't give us a lot of time to really do anything, and we're kind of just forced to mash buttons a lot of the time. But I understand the mentality behind players where they just don't want to lose. Hell, I think even I've done it myself too, honestly, where I just like, I think too hard and then I just let the timer run out a lot of the time because it's just, you know, it's very difficult. Like I don't want to lose. I want to actually make sure I'm making the right plays. That was kind of what made battling in Generation 6 and 7 a lot more, you know, amazing compared to what it is now. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, but yeah, and because of that also, I also had to bring this team once again, which is the one that you've already seen. It seems like I'm going to have to probably use like this team for like maybe 20 more battles or some shit. Well, not really, because the goal is right now for me to actually get up to 20 matches, because right now I actually have 14 matches on my channel, with this one included. That'd be 15. But I'm actually trying to see if I can maybe squeeze out a few more Wi-Fi matches in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and get a nice 20 matches. Just because I feel like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is like a game based on the Generation 4 titles. And since I didn't get to do Generation 4 matches enough back then, I was kind of thinking I should at least have a decent amount for today, just for old time's sakes, you know. And so yeah, I figured, and not to mention, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon has over 100 Wi-Fi matches, so, and that game is not even anything special to me, although it does hold a spot in my heart just for being the game that actually blew my channel up in a way, honestly, when I started making content for it and all that good stuff. And I also have been through so much during that time, so yeah, I do hold it in high esteem nonetheless, but it's not my favorite generation, honestly. For me, it was always Generation 4. And by extension Generation 8, just because Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl exists, you know, all that good stuff. But anyway, so yeah, that's the match, and yeah, we do win it. So like I said before, it was just, this was our second match, but yeah, this was the only one that actually went to, didn't go to time, that's what I wanted to say. And if you want to know the outcome of the first match, I did win that one as well, but I didn't want to showcase it because, again, it went to time. If I lost that, I wouldn't have shown it either way. Like, if I won or if I lost, I would not have shown it anyways, because it went to time. So yeah, and I don't want to showcase matches that go to time, honestly. That's why when I battle people, I also let them know that I kind of would ideally prefer it if they actually, you know, try to accommodate the timer. So don't think too much. That would be nice, but it's just not possible given the 20-minute timer, you know. Anyways, like I said before, if you watched this match, thank you for watching. Hope to catch you guys for another one whenever I get to it. For now, just take it easy and have yourselves a good one.